Welcome to my National Podcast. Let's get into it. Welcome to my National Podcast. Today is Thursday, and my goodness, it's time for our book episode, you guys' favorite day of the week. It is Thursday. My goodness, we got a good episode for you guys. Excited to get into the next chapters of beautiful Venom. Hopefully you guys are too. You guys know what we have, though, before we get on into the book, though. We have our thread. Our thread for today is: what is the craziest time your intuition warned you about someone and it turned out to be correct? All right. So let's see. Not me, but my wife. On a Friday, we purchased a new vehicle from a dealership, and the guy that handed the warranty and add-ons was young, maybe early 30s. Or 20s, I'm sorry. I thought he seemed like he had a lot of energy and was maybe a bit overly friendly. My wife clearly got bad vibes from him. All weekend, she kept mentioning him and how she didn't trust him. Monday morning, I decided to Google his name, and I got a fresh hit from a local news site. Apparently, that weekend, he was involved in a car chase with police. What the fuck? He had a trunk full of money and drugs. He ran across a farmer's field and hid in a barn until the canine unit flushed him out. Yo, what the fuck? I hope that this is like after the fact. This is not, this is before the fact. I'm sorry. Because if this is like something where it's just like, hey, look at that guy on the news. Didn't he sell us a car? Maybe it was after the fact. And now I'm thinking about it. Yeah, bro, imagine you're like, you get into, some kerfuffle or whatever with like somebody that works at some place or whatever it may be. And then all of a sudden you see them on the news and they're having a standoff with police and they're like high on meth or some shit. And you're just like, yo, hey, that dude bagged our groceries, Like, imagine that, dude. Wow, that's crazy. All because she was just like, something seems off about this dude right here. I don't know what it is, but this young man right here, there's just something off about him. I don't know what it is, but there's something. Husband went home. He was just like, click, clack, click, click, clack, click, clack. Wait a minute. Oh, shit. Deborah! Oh my God, look! It's the boy that sold the car. That boy had a police chase standoff. The dogs bit him in the booty cheeks. Oh, it was all bad. Damn. That's some crazy shit, bro. Absolutely crazy. All right, what is the craziest time that your intuition warned you about someone and it was correct? I was about 14 and there was a neighbor who always gave me the ick. One day I'm running home and he pulls over on the shoulder insisting I should get in so he could drive me home. I took off like a rabbit and ran through the woods to my house. Less than a year later, he is in prison for life on a murder conviction. Oh, Jesus. And the crazy thing about it is, like as a kid, they like don't believe you, like, your parents and adults and all that kind of stuff. They don't believe you. Why? Because there was a time when, I was living, with my family and everything like that. I was a kid at the time. I can't remember how old I was. I was younger than middle school. Well, I was probably elementary school, maybe like 5th grade. Yeah, maybe 5th grade. And there was a really creepy guy that lived in our like apartment complex area. And he had one of those like really creepy vans and shit like that. And, he was just a creepy dude in general. And me and my brother always used to like fuck with the guy all the time. Yeah, we used to fuck with the dude all the time, but it was because we knew that dude was he was a pedo, man. The thing is he didn't like little boys, he liked little girls. So that's why he didn't really fuck with us. But the fact that we kind of like knew he liked him some little girls, you know what I mean? But nobody believed us. No, we thought, you know, everybody thought like, oh, you know, he's just shut in and he's just this and he's just that. And we're like, no. Like, this motherfucker likes little girls. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. This dude is weird as shit. And they never believed us. And it's crazy because when we moved out of those apartments, we literally moved into like the new apartments that got built right across the street. They then demoed those apartments, and the reason they did was because the owner then got sued because of the law of, like, you know, when you're a pedo, you have to go to your neighbor's house and be like, hey, I'm a registered sex offender. And the owner didn't require that of this guy, kind of just let him live there. And so then he got sued out the wazoo. Those apartments got torn down. And it's crazy because when I found out about that, I was like, oh, you know, the Leonardo DiCaprio meme. I was like, look at, you know, we were right. We were fucking right. That shit was crazy to me. So yeah, bro. Sometimes it pays to, you know, listen to your kids a little bit. You know what I mean? At least, you know, be like, there might be a little credence to this. There might be something to this. There might be a reason why. Yeah, dude. Because when I had saw that, and mind you, I didn't see that until I was probably like in high school. So it wasn't maybe till like 3-4 years after we had left that apartment complex. But the fact that it got totally demolished because of that reason, and people were like pissed. People were so pissed and upset, and they were mad, rightfully so. It's like, dude, we got our kids running around, we got our kids playing and shit, and you're over here letting a pedophile who is, you know, not announcing himself live here because he didn't want to scare people off. You think about it, you know, if you move into a place and a motherfucker's talking about, oh, hi, you know, my name is Gregory and I am a registered sex offender, like, bro, you're gonna be out that bitch in a hot minute. You know what I mean? You gonna be counting the hours of when that lease ends. Like, you're not gonna be a long-term tenant, is what I'm saying. You know, you're not gonna be a long-term tenant. And so when you're not gonna be a long-term tenant, it gets to a point where, you know, I'm sure he tried to bend the rules and be like, you know, he's just a creepy dude. You know, and bro. Yeah, that shit's crazy. All right, what is the craziest time your intuition warned you about someone and you were correct? I met a guy through a mutual friend who I thought was super cute. He was also sweet and funny and seemed like a great catch. He and I flirted hard and he asked me out. I would have said yes, but something in his eyes just looked off, so my gut was telling me to say no, so I turned him down. 6 months later, his face was plastered all over the news for murdering his therapist and trying to murder his mother. He is spending the rest of his life in prison. Damn.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
Oh, my Lord. Thank goodness you didn't date that dude, because he would have literally had you locked up in a dungeon somewhere. Man, you would have had a black dude on the news talking about, you know, oh my God, we seen this dude every day. God damn, we knew them girls was in there. Like, bruh, like, that is some crazy shit, bro. It's so wild to me how it's just like when you like watch serial killer documentaries and, you know, documentaries of just deranged individuals in general, just how normal, you know what I mean, they appear on the outside. You know what I mean? They give you no inclination that they're just a twisted individual and they're crazy as fuck. Like, you just really have to be like, so you have to just pay attention. You know what I mean? You have to pay attention just more than the average person and just realize like, you know, and what sucks is like family members, you know what I mean? Like, you don't ever see that in your family members. And I think that's the kind of reason why, like, parents die a lot of times to their kids because, they look at it like, oh, it's my kid. Oh, he's being a little weird. Oh, it's okay. It is what it is. Like, they're fine. And, da, 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 you know what I mean? And then you don't wake up the next day. And it's just like, holy shit, dude. Oh, my God. But, hey, W to you, because you could have died. You could have died, bro. All right, what is the craziest time your intuition warned you about someone and it was correct? When I was a kid, a family friend got married and they held the reception at our house. I got the worst vibes from her new husband and decided to just avoid the party. I was seriously so angry, like, why are the adults around her not telling her this guy is bad news? My mom said I was being ridiculous. She's so happy. Well, turns out I was right. A few years later, I hear the saxophones playing. It turns out I was right. A few years later, I hear he was abusive and she escaped. He then stalked her relentlessly, ruining everything she tried to do. She changed her name and had to remove every trace of herself online. Scary, not glad I was right about that, bro. And you know what sucks about something like that is it's one of those things where I love to use this analogy, but it's just so goddamn perfect. It's the fact that you could have said anything that you wanted. You could have been like, this person is bad for you. This is not good. This person has this kind of intentions. This and that, blah, 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 blah. You're telling her the stove is hot all day long. And she's just like, no, it ain't. Touches that stove, gets burnt, and is just like, oh my God. And what sucks for her is it's one of those things where, some people just get burnt more than others. You know what I mean? Some people, it's just like, oh shit, okay, no, never mind. But some people, it's just like this scoldering, moldering heat to the point where it melts their skin and bone. And now, she's got just a nub on her arm. Our fingers are just burned off and gone. You know what I mean? And that's what I mean. It's like, dude, you had to get to such a painful point with this guy to where you had to change your name, because I guarantee you she was justifying a lot of it. Like, oh no, I get it. He just acts weird sometimes, or pulls the whole, oh, you don't know what he's like when it's just us two. You know what I mean? Like, it's tough because, you guys probably know somebody who is in an abusive relationship and they justify that abusive relationship or the abusive actions, like, oh, it's fine. Everything's okay. You know what I mean? He only beats me on Tuesdays, or, on Mondays he hits me, but it's not as hard. And, they just come up with some crazy shit and you're just thinking to yourself like, oh my God, why do you not know that this is abuse? Why do you not understand that this is bad? Why do you not understand that this is, no es bueno? You know what I mean? So, yeah, and that's just what I mean. It's like you could have said everything under the sun, and a lot of times, there are just some women that don't want to get away from it, even though they know. Like, I would argue they know. I don't think it's a thing where they don't. They just want to justify it, and they're like, no, it's fine, it's okay, we can make it happen, we can make it work, when it just doesn't work, so, oh my goodness, boy. Oh. What's the craziest time your intuition warned you about someone and it was correct? My brother started making me and my sisters uncomfortable when he hit 14 years old. He was weird, did creepy stuff, and we hated spending time with him. Once we moved out, we went LC with him. We didn't trust him around our kids and even warned girls away based on some things he did that we were borderline illegal. Oh, what the fuck? What was he doing that was borderline illegal? Oh, what the hell? Caused a lot of family fights. Dad agreed something was wrong with him. Mom felt we were wrong on every point. Now our brother is in prison for life for crimes against children I can't even fathom. Now, not just your basic CSA, but shit only a devil would do. We don't understand why he's a monster, but we always knew. Bang. Bruh, I mean, I thought he was just trying to, be incestful. Like that's not, I was just like, no, I'm not saying that. Like, he's just trying to be incestful. That's cool. It's all right. No, 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 like, that's not what I'm trying to say. It's one of those things where it's just like, like, if he was just doing it because he was curious, you know what I mean? Like, at 14, that's like the heightened pinnacle of like a boy's, lustful journey, if you will, for the sexual side of women. And, I understand, like, he looks at it like, oh, my sisters are girls, why can't I just, like, explore that with them? And, you know what I mean? Because you don't understand. You're kind of just like, you understand, but you don't understand because of, like, hormones and shit. It's like, you understand, like, that's my sister and it's wrong, but then your hormones are just like, nah, man, that's a female. That's a female, man. You know what I mean? So, like, that's why I could see the parents' point in that mode where they're like, okay, he's 14, he's hormonal as fuck, you know what I mean? He's gonna get out of this. He's right. He's it's that fucking Anakin Skywalker meme, where it's just like, yeah, he's gonna get out of this, right? He doesn't say anything. But it's just one of those things where it's just like that goes back to what I was saying, where parents don't really understand, the craziness that comes out of their kids, because luckily for them, he wasn't violent towards them and like absolutely ended their lives in, in their sleep and shit like that. Like, luckily for them, he wasn't that kind of crazy. Sadly, though, he was kind of the, Child Protective Service kind of crazy, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's like, oh, Jesus Christ, like, what are you doing, dude? Like, that's some, yeah, that, like I said, it goes back to the point where it's the whole, like, when it's your kid, you're like, no, you make justifications, you know what I mean? You make justifications as much as possible, and you never know. But at the same time, it also goes back to my point of the whole, when I told you guys the story of me and my brother, when we were like, oh no, that dude, the pedo, you know what I mean, when we were kids, it's like, also, give some credence to your kids too. Like, okay, wait a minute, like, if they're saying this, like, this is at least a little bit worth looking into, just a little bit. Like, hey man, let me see your computer, you know what I mean? Oh shit, you got some child porn on here, oh my god, so that's what I mean. It's like, at least give a little credence to it, you know what I mean? And then if you don't find anything, you can tell them to shut up. Like, that's kind of how I would deal with it, just because I would want them to both, like, feel heard, the daughters as well as the son. But yeah, man. Oh, jeez. Yeah, that's absolutely terrible. All right, what is the craziest time your intuition warned you about someone and it was correct? I was introduced to an older, frail man in the early 80s, and my hair stood up on end. My other friend said, I see they let you out of jail, to the old guy, and he just laughed. They stopped and talked, and I moved quickly away. The sense that he was unnaturally evil was so wrong. I later found out that he had been associated with many, molestations, rapes, arsons, murder for hire, killing horses for insurance money, tried many times to kill his half-brother, and finally succeeded under contract murder for hire. Believed to have abducted and killed innocent teenagers that got in the way, and the bodies were never found. Killed a private detective tracking him, got away on self-defense. When I encountered him, he had just gotten out of jail for the conspiracies of murder charges for killing his half-brother. The rest he got away with. He just radiated evil. That is crazy, bro. He even added a link in there and was just like, nah, nigga, this shit's real. I ain't capping. There ain't no caps and lay raps. Like, bruh. And what the crazy part about it is, like, you could easily meet somebody like that. Think about it. There's so many old people out there nowadays. This is probably why Michael on the Sunday episodes are like, man, we need to eradicate old people because they're crazy as hell. You know what I mean? Hey, that's his thing. You know what I mean? If y'all don't know what I'm talking about, definitely go watch Sunday's episode, or one of the Sunday episodes. And you know what I mean? But again, it's just one of those things where it's just like, dude, because I remember one time there was an old guy that me and my brother used to, we didn't really interact with him like that, but he always would okay, he was the one that kind of would like lure you in with snacks and shit like that. He never really did anything to us, or anything like that, but I know like he was really cool at first. At first, he was super cool. You know what I mean? All the kids in the neighborhood were like, oh, yeah, dude, gives you like popsicles and, it gives you this and that. And one time he gave us money and blah, blah, blah. And it was really cool. And we were like, oh, yeah. And then there was a time where like, we couldn't find dude. And dude, like, we thought he never came down to his house or what was going on. Like, we were like, what the fuck is going on? And then one of the kids' parents was like, oh shit, like he was arrested. And they're like, what the fuck was homeboy arrested for? And apparently he had 2 little girls tied up in his house, and they were just tied up in there, and nobody knew for the longest time. Nobody knew that these little girls were just tied up in there, and homeboy was just giving out candy to the kids. And I don't know if he was trying to like build trust to snatch up another one, or if he was just kind of doing that to like avert his eyes, you know what I mean, to kind of make it look like, oh yeah, I'm just this nice old man that just loves kids, it is what it is, but behind the closed doors I got my victims. Like we don't know what it was. And man, oh bruh, it's when the moment we had heard about that, we were like, holy shit, we could have died. we could have been one of those girls, bro. You know what I mean? Like, you never know. Like, that shit is crazy. And the crazy part about it is when we found out about it, it was one of those things where those little girls were there for like, close to like over 4, maybe 5 years. So they got like taken when they were in elementary school all the way into when they were supposed to be in like high school. And we're just like, whoa, man, absolutely insanity, man. And the crazy part about it is you don't realize any of this until like you're older. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because like when this was told to me when I was a kid, I didn't really understand it like that, to the cognitive ability that I understand it now. I didn't understand it at all. I was just like, yeah, we heard about it. Oh my God, this dude had like some girls in his fucking, thing or whatever. Like, wow, that's crazy. And then we just kind of moved on with our lives. You know what I mean? It was just like, oh yeah, all right, well, hunky dory, da da da. But then when like later down the road, you kind of, it either comes up or it gets brought up or whatever the case may be, it's just like, oh shit, like we could have died, yeah, absolutely insanity. Yeah, man's got away with all that shit. All right, this will be our last one for this thread. What's the craziest time your intuition warned you about someone and you were right? I was a third year student in Long Beach, California. Hey, that's my hometown. Let's go, baby. Many years ago, I was also a bit too familiar with the drug scene. There was one guy who dabbled in both. Really eccentric. Most striking thing about his appearance was a white blonde bowl cut. He started coming to my apartment to hang out and was trying hard to hook up. He talked a lot about his summoners in the wilderness. He claimed he could survive anywhere and commune with nature, that he was one of the wildlife. He'd keep telling me I'd love it, and hinting that I should go with him. One day he took off his shirt and was winding it around himself, talking about how clothing could be used like a rope. Like, what? And she was like, fuck? I got super freaked out and finally admitted to myself that the guy was just too weird to be around. I had to be really rude and forceful to get him to leave me alone. Forgot about him for years until a movie came out about how his being one with the wildlife resulted in both him and his girlfriend being eaten by grizzly bears. Fuck!
What did he say?
Being eaten by what, yo? Alright, look, man. I love me some nature just as much as the next motherfucker, but I don't fuck with it. Because if there's anything I'm scared of, it's motherfucking snakes, bro. Alright? I ain't gonna lie to you. I know some of you guys are just like, what? What? Man, I love snakes, man. What you talking about? Snakes ain't that bad. No, snakes are bad. Fuck them. But my fear of snakes came from the original Anaconda movie. You know what I mean? Where you're watching motherfuckers just get swallowed up and it would wrap around them and squeeze them until they just all their bones are broken and they die and shit. You know? And for me, I was just like, holy shit, snakes can do that. And then my mom was just like, oh, that's just a movie, honey. Oh, it's okay. And so I'm thinking, okay, everything's hunky dory. That's just a movie. And then in school, we get, those little books, right? Where you would open the book and then it has a little pop up and then you can read about what it is, right? So we had one about reptiles. And I looked into it and I was reading it and stuff like that. And I was starting to read about boa constrictors and pythons and all that shit. And they're like, yeah, these motherfuckers can, grow to be super long and really big and da-da-da. And they can wrap around you and squeeze you. And I was just like, oh no. I was like,
What the hell? Oh my
No.
way.
No.
Yeah.
I ain't fucking with snakes ever. I ain't ever fucking with snakes ever in my time. And then I found out they were venomous. I was like, there's venomous ones too? Oh, Lord. Oh, Lordy. I was like, what have we done? Oh, no. Science has gone too far. Mind you, I was literally, probably, 13, 14 years old, just in an existential crisis. Oh my God. Oh, no. Dude, let me tell you something. I was freaking the fuck out. I was freaking out. All right. I wasn't having it. Okay, I wasn't having it. I was like, snakes are public enemy number one for me. I ain't gonna lie to you. We throwing hands if I see a snake. All right, we're not throwing hands, but I'm shooting it. You know what I mean? No. Even if they're like, oh no, it's just a little corn snake. I'm like, bah, 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 bah. Like, woo! Yeah, I became a YN real quick. Oh my God. But I hope you guys enjoyed that thread, man. If there has ever been a time where you have had an intuition about someone and it was correct, definitely let me know down in the comments. Get a part of the thread. Other than that, let me know what you thought about the thread. Mob through announcements, make announcements really quick, and then we'll get right into our book. So, patreon.com/Am I the Asshole Podcast. Get an exclusive episode every single Friday, as well as being able to send your scenario to be featured on the Tuesday and the Sunday episode. Audio listeners, thank you guys so much for all of the support. I appreciate you guys so very much, man. You guys are the absolute goats, and I appreciate everything that you guys have been doing. Keep downloading the episodes as well as rating us 5 stars on your preferred platforms. That helps out so much. And if you want to help out even more, go ahead and follow us on Instagram, TikTok, as well as subscribing on YouTube. All of that helps out tremendously, and it is free. Okay? So, I love you guys so much, and I appreciate you all for the support. Without further ado, though, let's get right on into our book. All right. I don't remember what chapter numbers we're on, so we are doing the next 2 chapters. Let's go, baby. Let it ride. All right.
34. Dahlia. I must have fallen asleep, because the next time I opened my eyes, Kane's not in bed. It's large and consuming and smells of him, but he's not here. Morning light spills through the large window, but the room is empty and desolate. My throat closes and bile rises up, choking my breaths. I think I'm going to be sick. The silence sounds violent, cruel. There isn't even the rain to distort it. I look in the direction of the bathroom. Kane? Even as I call his name, I know he's not there. His presence is gone, and so are his kisses. His dirty and soft whispers.
Go to sleep now, Dahlia.
Those were the last words he told me after he dried my hair and held me to his chest. After I asked him about his tattoos, and he said the crow represented freedom and the serpent was about control. After he let me stroke his chest and mumble incoherent words against him. After he kissed my forehead, and I felt like a little girl who was just too exhausted and needed sleep. Because his arms were safe. His voice was safe. So I thought if I closed my eyes a little, he'd be here when I opened them again. I thought because he lathered my body with soap, carried me in his arms, and dried me, he might forgive me. I thought because I saw the concern and cryptic emotions in his eyes, he might keep me. But maybe I thought wrong. Because he's gone, and I'm the only one in this vast bed. Maybe he can't get over my betrayal after all. My breathing comes in slow, chopped sounds, and I think I'm having a panic attack. Breathe. Just breathe. Who the hell do you think you are, Dahlia? Keep you? A rat from the streets who shouldn't even look at him, let alone touch him? His father was right. Megan was right. Preston and Jude were so right. He's a Davenport. No matter how hard I try to erase that last name, it defines him. And now that his father is dead, it is him. I pull my knees to my chest, and a whiff of his cologne fills my nostrils. It makes me want to cry. Why did he treat me that way if he was going to discard me? If he were crueler, it probably wouldn't have hurt this much. A phone that's plugged into a charger lights up on the nightstand. It's mine, I realize. My fingers shake as I grab it. There are a few worried texts from Megan because she hasn't heard from me in a while. I text back that I'm fine, and it's a long story. I should get up, locate my sister, and my heart nearly stops when I find texts from Kane. A few of them are from when I disappeared in the village, but the ones that make me shake all over are the latest ones, from an hour ago.
Kane, I need to take care of Grant's death fallout. Don't move. Call the kitchen from the room's intercom, and they'll prepare whatever food you like. We'll talk once I get back. P.S. I'll take you to visit your sister once I'm done.
My fingers shake around the phone. The only words I see go in and out of focus. We'll talk once I get back. We'll talk. We will talk. Will I have to pay a price for what I've done? I don't regret any of it, but I know how Kane will perceive my actions. Betrayal. Or maybe it's something else. Against my will, a flicker of hope spills in the dark corners of my chest. A knock booms in the silence, and I think it's the doomsday feeling in my head, but it comes again, louder this time. Dahlia? I scramble to my feet at the sound of Helena's soft voice and quickly throw on Kane's shirt that he left on the floor. It only reaches my thighs, but it's better than nothing. Just a sec, I call as I rush to the ornate golden door. I feel self-conscious for even touching it. When I open it, I find Helena standing outside, barely filling out her straight white dress. Her skin pasty against the color, but there's a flicker of life in her sunken eyes. Hi, I say awkwardly, pulling down on the shirt. Thank you for seeing me. Anytime. Sorry for how I look. I don't know where my clothes are. They're being cleaned. The staff will bring them as soon as possible. Thank you. She takes my hands in hers. I'm the one who should thank you and apologize to you. I didn't want Kane to come and get hurt, but he reminded me of everything you did for us. He reminded me that he's a much better person than I'll ever be, and I want to apologize for ever asking him to turn his back on you. You were just scared for his life, I say in a low voice. I should be the one to apologize. It's because of me that, your husband died. On the contrary, I'm grateful. Even if Kane became a murderer, it's not his first murder, and won't be his last. But at least this time he did it for himself. He finally got himself and me, though coincidentally, free of Grant's chains. So thank you, Dahlia. She squeezes my hand. I'm glad you're in Kane's life. No, I'm glad he's in mine. A tall man in a butler's suit walks toward us carrying a basket. Samuel. Helena releases me as she wipes her eyes. There. Samuel brought your clothes.
Julian Callahan is here.
He announces as soon as I take the basket. My hand tightens at the name. Helena merely frowns. If he's here for Kane, then tell him he's not in.
He wants a word with Miss Thorne. He's in the late Mr. Davenport's study.
My heartbeat skyrockets, and I think I'm shaking, because Helena wraps an arm around my shoulders and strokes my arm. Tell him to return when Kane is here, she says to Samuel.
Very well, madam.
No, it's okay. I spit out a breath. I'll change and be right back. You don't have to do this. Helena's frown deepens. Julian is a snake no one likes for a reason. It's better if you wait for Kane. I'll be fine. If Julian intends to press charges for the DNA tests and using his laboratory illegally, I don't want anyone, let alone Kane, to be there. After I get into my clean, fresh-smelling jeans and t-shirt, Helena still tries to persuade me not to go, but I assure her that I'll be fine and follow Samuel. As he opens the door and stands outside, I realize I'm lying, big time. Julian gives me the chills. I swear he's creepier than his brother. At least Jude is more upfront and doesn't have the macabre aura that hits me as soon as I step into a room. The door closes, and I regret not bringing Helena along. Grant's study is as dark as his soul. The shelves and the desk are a dark brown, the sofas are black, and the wallpaper is a depressing green. Julian stands by the shelves, leisurely flipping the pages of a hardcover. I catch Diogenes of Sinope on the spine before he tilts it down and stares at me, his gaze piercing, his body effortlessly upright. You wanted to see me? I ask, keeping a safe distance away from him and close to the door.
Yes. I figured now would be the best time before Kane finishes making his father's murder look like a boating accident.
He smiles.
I don't indulge in cannibalism, so you can relax. I won't eat you.
He flips another page, even though he's looking at me, the act meticulous and somewhat menacing. Though maybe it's not the act itself, it's the dead look in his eyes. So this is what a Vencor founder looks like at all times. It's suffocating.
You see, Grant made a mistake.
He flips a page, pauses, then flips another one.
He underestimated Kane's emotions. He never thought the son he molded into a copy of himself would take a page out of his book and simply remove him from the picture to achieve his goals. He also underestimated you and your capabilities to be the catalyst that pushed Kane to take that last step. He truly lost his touch at the end, especially after he was kind of forced to abandon his brother and some of his power. Sad, don't you think?
I'm only sad because Kane had to live as that asshole's son for 21 years.
My, you're becoming his god dog already.
He grins, the gesture haunting.
This will be fun.
This?
Miss Thorne, I suppose Grant never got the chance to tell you who tried to kill your sister, right?
My muscles tighten, and my fists clench.
I'll take that as a no, especially since you're still here.
He flips a page.
Other dogs bite their enemies. I bite my friends to save them.
What?
Diogenes said that.
Are we here to discuss philosophers?
Kane is a cynic, ripped right from Diogenes' flesh. He'd hurt Jude and Preston if it meant it would keep them safe. He's better than Grant in that regard, and a true pragmatist who weighs every option before taking action.
And?
And do you believe you'll remain unscathed from the way his mind works?
That's none of your business.
You see, that's where you're wrong. Story time. You might want to sit down for this.
I'm good. He lifts a shoulder as he skims through the pages, as if that's where the story is.
A couple of years ago, a woman was stabbed to death in broad daylight 20 times. Do you know what being stabbed 20 times means, Miss Thorne? It means she must have felt the pain from the first stab the most, in her kidney. It must have been sharp and hurt a lot, and it was probably more painful than when she gave birth. She screamed, alerting everyone on the street to what was happening. The second stab was even worse. It went through her stomach. So did the third and the fourth. She collapsed afterward, crawling, bleeding, her mouth gurgling with the metallic taste, and begging for help. Someone, anyone. They didn't come. But the fifth stab came. This one went into her heart. She died then. She was bleeding out on the pavement, her empty eyes staring at the God she believed in. But he let her die like a dog. But it didn't end there. Her corpse was stabbed again and again, in the chest, the genitals, the stomach, until her intestines were hanging out. Her face was hit on the pavement until her eyes bulged out.
Where are you going with this? I snap, feeling sick to my stomach. But most of all, I don't like where this is leading.
Just a description of the backstory. It's fascinating how you can't handle listening to it. But the people present watched and did nothing.
What does this have to do with me?
You see, one of the people who was present, and who turned the other way while that woman was murdered in cold blood, is none other than your dear, innocent sister, Violet Winters.
I step backward, my hand flying to my mouth to cover my gasp.
Surprised that your affectionate, angelic-faced sister who wouldn't hurt a fly stood by and watched a woman be killed.
I shake my head. She would never. A zap snaps in my head. Memories of Vi coming home and throwing up, her face pale, her entire body trembling. She said she ate something bad and had a stomach ache. She went to sleep early and left early the next day. She was off for over 2 weeks, withdrawn and completely out of it. Whenever I asked, she said it was stress from work, school, and bills, and I believed her, because Vi never lied to me.
She did. There's security footage to prove it, or there was. I made sure to erase and get rid of it all.
Are you related to the dead woman? Is that why?
She was my stepmother, Jude's mother.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
You see, Jude really loved his mother. I liked her too. She was different from mine. She was sweet and tried her best with me. She even attempted to protect me from my own father. Silly woman. Most importantly, she treated Jude like her treasure. So you can imagine his anger and need for vengeance. But I erased that footage from the records to stop his bloodlust haze. However, do you know who got a hold of some of the footage before I could delete it all? The one who bites his friends to help them.
I'm shaking my head, back and forth, back and forth.
That's right, Kane. To comply with Jude's need for killing and revenge, he cut that footage into tiny clips and gathered a list with all the names of those who were present that day. He made files, too, full of information about them, their families, their weaknesses, what made them tick. Even their habits are there, tucked neatly in his filing cabinet. Every once in a while, he gives Jude a name and helps him in making their lives complete hell. It's poetic, really. Jude wants every witness to hit rock bottom, to make them have to ask for help and not find it, just like his mother. Then once they've had their fun, Preston, Jude, and Kane kidnap them, release them into the forest, and indulge in some old-fashioned hunting.
My legs fail me, and I grab onto a nearby chair to remain standing. This can't be real. Julian is lying. He's lying.
Needless to say, Kane knew about your existence long before you came here. He must have seen you, too, during one of his and Jude's stalking sessions. Now, I'm not sure whether or not he pulled the strings to bring you here, but knowing Kane, he probably did. Maybe he wanted to toy with you, too. Maybe you caught his attention, I'm not sure. He sure went through a lot of trouble to arrange a fake initiation.
Fake? My lips tremble around the word.
You didn't possibly think it was real, did you? Oh my. You did. You see, this is why outsiders should remain on the outside. They're fickle and unable to discern dreams from reality. Our actual initiations alter the very fabric of your soul. If you had undergone the real deal, you wouldn't have survived. Kane has a soft spot for you, which is why he planned the whole watered-down charade, and even asked his friends to participate. If it were real, you wouldn't have been accepted in the initial vetting process in the first place. Only those born into Vencor get to initiate, and occasionally, we invite those we deem worthy to be in our midst.
It wasn't real. The whole psychological torture and brutal fucking was a charade? No. How could that possibly be true? Julian must be trying to mess with my head. It's not him. I say so low, even I barely hear it.
What was that?
Kane didn't hurt Violet. He couldn't have. I shout, heaving. He wouldn't do that. He wasn't a match on that DNA test.
Oh, that. The DNA that was found under your sister's nails was actually swapped with a dead person's. Of course, there will be no match.
His lips pull in a smirk.
Who do you think swapped it?
No. No.
Kane.
No!
I don't care if you don't believe me. You can stay here and murder him for all I care, or wait long enough for him to get bored of his games and murder you. Doesn't make any difference. But there's something else you should know first.
I stare at him through my blurry vision.
Your sister. She's awake.
What?
Technically, her coma is induced.
What the hell are you talking about? The doctors said she was in a coma.
My doctors, my hospital, my system. I'm about to give you a lot of information, and I want you to be quiet and listen. I can assure you that your sister is awake and recovering well, and you can find out more about her location if you make the right choice. Violet actually woke up the same day she was admitted, and she wanted to run away from Jude at any cost, but she knew he'd find her, no matter where she went. So, we struck a deal. She volunteers to test my experimental drug that would make her look as if she's in a coma. And in return, I arrange for your and her relocation where Jude can't find her once she wakes up. That way she'll be able to escape my brother's notorious hunts. But she woke up earlier than predicted because we couldn't keep administering the drug when he kidnapped her, after I took her out of the hospital. And by the time I got her again, she was starting to wake up. As it happens, my brother was already getting suspicious, because she's not showing the same signs as his actual comatose bodyguard. We reached the end of the trial anyway, and I'm satisfied with the results.
Jude kidnapped her? But if Julian found her again, then that means she's okay, right? My mind reels as the pieces start falling into place. Vi's bills being paid in full without any conditions. Vi's doctor, who refused to allow any other doctor to come near her. Jude's comatose guard, Mario, right next to Violet. Now that I think about it, the hooded guy who was looming over Vi's bed had a very similar build to Jude. Oh my God.
You have two choices.
He lifts a finger.
1. You stay here, wait for Kane, and lose your sister.
He lifts another finger.
2. You disappear with your sister somewhere safe that I'll arrange. For good.
My lips tremble. Why are you doing this?
I don't like you or your sister. Outsiders should stay on the outside. This way Jude and Kane will come back to their senses already. Cleaning up after them is a hassle.
I hang my head as tears gather in my eyes and drip onto my beat-up white sneakers. Could Kane be the one behind everything? Could he have manipulated me like a puppet on a string? He wouldn't have made me feel bad for lying when he already knew everything, right? Or have I finally been burned alive by the sun?
35. Kane. After I returned from feeding my father to the sharks, Dolly has disappeared. Again. She's vanished right from my grasp. Fucking again. I came back to tell her the truth, to assure her that everything is forgiven. In fact, there's nothing to forgive. After last night, after the way she slept peacefully in my arms, I figured it was time to start with a clean slate. I can't force Jude to like her, and he probably never will, but I can protect her from him. She has nothing to do with his obsession anyway. Her sister does, but her sister is practically dead. It might hurt, but she'll eventually accept that reality. She'll accept that I'm all she has, the only one she can have. But she's not here. She even left her phone behind. Julian goddamn Callahan came by and talked to her, and she left with him. That's what my mother and Samuel said. That's what I watched on the house's security footage over and over again on a damn loop. I can't stop looking at the way she trudges behind him. Her movements lethargic, her eyes soulless, her fire completely extinguished. She didn't even have that look when Grant had her chained up in his goddamn dungeon. A dungeon I spent the last hour blazing through with a machete, as if that will extinguish the torturous memories, or the image of Dahlia hanging from the chains while bleeding. And now, Julian has taken her away. Julian is interfering in my fucking business. He definitely didn't learn a lesson from Grant's murder. If I can kill my own father, nothing and no one will stop me anymore. Not Julian, not the rules, not even fucking Vincor. My steps are wide as I walk to the secondary annex, where my father's lackeys reside, followed by Samuel. He already informed them about their new owner, and this new owner has his first mission for them. As we were walking, I pull out my phone and text in the group chat. Text. Me, @Jude Callahan. I'm informing you that your brother is getting in my way and I might or might not have him killed. Jude. Not before I do. He kidnapped Violet. Again. Me. Fuck, that must be why Dahlia went with him. Preston. Wow, messing with Julian, are we? Count me out. I'm just gonna stay here and get high. Me. Is Julian at the main house? Jude. At his wife's house. Me. Even better. Remember when I said threatening him was risky? Forget about that. I'm bringing our men. Preston. Hey, let's take a deep breath. Inhale, exhale. Jude. I'll bring the men I have access to. Preston. Jesus fucking Christ, slow down. You want to get killed. Me. I'm now the head of the Davenport family, and Julian came onto Davenport property and took what's mine. He needs to pay. Jude. It's long overdue. He needs to stop his fucking meddling. Preston. Sounds dangerous. I'm in. A few hours later, we're all gathered in front of Julian's wife's house on the outskirts of town, far away from Ravenswood Hill, bordering where the poor people live in the neighboring town. After Jude and I direct our men to surround the house, we take out the security in front, and we head to the second floor, where the bedrooms are. It's almost midnight, so the motherfucker should be sleeping. Despite the lack of light, Jude, Preston, and I move with ease. We've been plunged in the darkness our entire lives. This is child's play. So, Preston walks backward in front of us so that he's facing us. We're risking my precious life for pussy. Shouted Armstrong. Jude says without even looking at him. I'm just setting the record straight. I'd never do this for a pussy. It's so fucking lame, I'm thinking about throwing you out of Preston's privileged close circle club. Consider me thrown out, I say, my muscles bulging with tension. I never wanted to be in it in the first place, Jude adds. Liars. You love me and can't survive without me. If I were a woman, you'd be fighting over my beautiful self. Fighting over who gets to chop your head off first, I say, which we're already doing. I'd be playing so hard to get. Dallas would have nothing on me. He grins, ignoring my words, then headlocks Jude. I think I'll still pick big man, though. His dick is bigger. Jude elbows him. I'll stab your dick if you don't take this seriously. Not my precious dick. How the fuck am I supposed to unwind? Preston lets go with a pout and continues to walk backward. Besides, this whole thing is stupid and Julian will probably light our asses on fire. You shouldn't even be this invested, Jude. Your brother would be doing you a favor if he kills that nobody. Jude glares at him, his eyes nearly shooting daggers. No one but me gets to kill my targets. Shh. I raise a hand to my mouth and pull out my gun at the sound of Julian's cool voice. Jude motions at the door behind him, and then the three of us inch closer. I kick the door open, gun in hand, but we freeze upon seeing Julian sitting in a chair, reading out loud from a book as his wife, Annalise, lies in bed sleeping. She startles at the loud kick and sits up, her eyes unfocused, her face pale. Annalise Callahan is the greatest mystery in this town. She's barely seen, less than my mother, and rumor has it that Julian's using her as a subject for his latest experimental drug testing. No one really cares, though.
Julian?
She asks, her voice low, almost scratchy. He strokes her hair and smiles. Didn't know the motherfucker was capable of that. Go back to sleep, I'll be right back. She grabs onto his shirt and shakes her head, but he releases her grip and looks at us, his smile dropping in a blink. Let's talk outside. Preston jumps out first. I was dragged here against my will. They did it. We all step out. Jude doesn't really want to hurt his sister-in-law, and he made it clear that threatening Julian with her life is fine, but she's not to be touched. Annalise is not to be harmed, were his exact words as soon as we arrived here. The de facto leader of the Callahan clan casts one last glance at his wife, then closes the door and runs a hand through his hair. Now I have to maim you. Not me, Preston raises his hand. Against my will, remember? I jam my gun against Julian's temple. Where's Dahlia? He doesn't even flinch. Somewhere far away from you. We have the house surrounded, Julian. If you don't tell me where she is right now, I'll blow your brains out. Be my guest. In the event of my death, my people will blow both Dahlia and Violet up. I freeze. Of course he'd have such a backup plan. It wouldn't be Julian if he didn't. Jude grabs his brother by the collar of his shirt. What the fuck are you doing? Putting your heads back where they belong. On the game, on your roles, without distractions. Preston claps. Thank you. That's what I've been saying. You think I won't find her? I breathe close to his face. I have all the resources to, and those promises of investment I made to you, consider them canceled and divided between Serena and Atlas. Doesn't matter whether or not you find her. She knows everything about your involvement in her sister's attack and how she ended up in Greystone Ridge. Poor girl was shaken at the reality that you're the mastermind. She really tried to defend you as well, until she couldn't deny the truth. You told her. Yes. How else would I get her to leave? I raise my hand and punch him in the face. You had no right to tell her. That wasn't your conversation to have. It's up to me how I use the information at my disposal. He wipes his bloody nose. As for business matters, you'll come to your logical senses. Neither Serena nor Atlas can help you maintain the Davenport shaky foundation like I can. I don't need you for that. I have my uncle. Caden can't come back so soon even if Grant is dead and you know it. You need to get stronger and enforce your own rules first. Julian, his brother growls, don't make me hurt you. You can try. Julian stares me down. Here's the deal, Kane. If you manage to bring Dahlia back willingly, I won't touch her again. And you won't throw a tantrum regarding business matters. My jaw clenches. Now get off my property. If you barge into my house again, I'll kill you. Then he turns and goes back into the bedroom, closing the door behind him. Night, Julian, Preston says in a sing-song voice. Sorry for the late-night visit. We'll send flowers in the morning. Jude strides toward the door, but Preston holds him back. I'm not disposing of your corpses tonight. Forget it, Jude. I let my gun fall to my side. I'll find them myself, even if it's the last thing I do. Preston snaps his fingers in my direction. Now that's the spirit. I still hate where this is going, but anyway, we're out of here. He starts to drag us out, joking about how we escaped with our skin unscathed, while Jude hits him upside the head. When we're in the driveway, my phone vibrates and I pull it out, expecting Samuel. Unknown number. I pick up, and as soon as I hear harsh, fractured breaths from the other end, I go still, my fingers tightening on the phone. Dahlia.
Is it true?
Her voice is weak, hoarse as if she spent hours crying. Whatever Julian has told you is massively blown out of proportion. Where are you? I'll pick you up.
Just tell me, did you know all along about Violet? About the connection to Jude's mother? About me?
It's not as it seems.
Yes or no?
She speaks over me, again. My jaw tightens. Yes. She laughs then, the sound piercing my ears as sobs echo through it. I can't help but remember the first time I saw her laugh. That day from the top of the roof.
God, you should be proud of yourself. You played me so well, Kane. I hope I entertained you enough.
You were never a subject of my entertainment. I snap, then rein it in and breathe calmly. Let's meet. We need to talk.
So you can finish the job with Violet?
I won't harm her.
But Jude will. Like he did a few months ago.
He didn't.
Stop lying to me!
Fuck. If she talks over me one more time, I'm grabbing her throat through the goddamn phone. Why the fuck isn't she letting me speak?
Just so you know, if Jude comes near her, I'll kill him.
All her sniffles disappear, and she sounds stone cold, far away.
Don't let me see your face again, or I'll kill you too.
The phone goes dead.
All right. Well, that has been today's episode. Hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. If you guys are on Patreon, I'll see you guys tomorrow. If not, I'll see you guys on Sunday for another episode. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. I appreciate you guys all so very, very much. And that'll be me. Peace. Love you guys.